going on, guys? It's Kayla here, and I have a story time for you all. Um, I have my son, as you can see. If you haven't seen my very first video, my son's name is Lucas, which I call him LJ, but my fiance wants to call him Junior, so we'll just stick with Lucas. How's that? Alright, also in my first video, I talk about how he was born prematurely. Where's my glasses up? Okay, so he was born prematurely. I was 33 weeks pregnant whenever I went into labor with him, so he was about 7 weeks early. This story time is going to be my my pregnancy and my labor experience. Okay, so let's jump right to it. Can you smile? Can you smile? Yeah. Okay. So, I found out I was pregnant back in, I think, March of 2015. And the day that I was 21 years old whenever I found out. I'm almost 22 now. I'll be 22 in July. Alright, so the day that I found out was actually the day that we found out that my fiance's papa had passed away without any notice. It was just all of a sudden. But my fiance's dad and his brother come down and, woke us up. We were asleep. Fiance had left with his dad and his brother. So I had been having symptoms, I guess you would say. Like, it would just make me think about, like, hey, maybe I'm pregnant, Alright, well, one of my symptoms was my boobs hurting. You're probably like, well, what about your period? Didn't you miss your period? Yes, I did. But my periods were so irregular from where I was on birth control before. I was on 2 different types, actually, from the time that I was, for about 4 years. I was 14 when I got on it, and I was 18 whenever I stopped taking it. I started out doing the Depo, which is a shot, and then I ended it with the pill. Sorry, my arm got tired. Alright, so, what are you doing? Alright, so I didn't think anything of the period fact, Alright, and then another symptom I had is I was eating so much more than what I normally would, oh God, I'm saying a lot. Oh gosh, sorry. Alright, so I was eating a lot more than what I usually would. And I was also peeing a lot more than what I usually would do. So whenever he had left with his dad and his brother, I decided to go get a pregnancy test. I come home from getting the pregnancy test, and I take it, and it instantly turns positive, dude. Like, as soon as my pee hit it, it fucking turned positive. So I, freaked out. I instantly started crying. I ran in there to my stepdad, and I was like, Jason, I'm pregnant. That's my stepdad's name. I was like, I'm pregnant. And he was like, are you sure? Did you read the directions right? And I was like, yeah, I've took a test before. I know how they work and shit, So, yeah, so I found out I was pregnant. I called my mom. I told my mom. I didn't tell my fiance at first. His name is Luke, by the way. I didn't tell him at first because I wanted to be 100% positive before I told him, because I thought, that I was pregnant before, and I wasn't. So, me and my mom went to the health department in my town, and they confirmed it, and I started crying right in front of her, the lady that did my test. She was actually my school nurse whenever I was in high school, so, okay, so she confirmed it. I had took a picture of my home test and my health department test, so I could send it to Luke. Alright, so, I sent him the pictures, and my arm got tired again, and he was like, no. And I was like, yeah, I was fucking shocked. So shocked. And, he couldn't really believe it. He was kind of mad that I didn't, take it while he was here. Like, that's something that we both wanted to experience together. But I had no idea that sucker was going to turn positive. I swear to you guys, I had no idea whatsoever that I was pregnant, He was also kind of upset that I told him on the day that his grandpa died, which it wasn't the best idea, but I couldn't keep that in. Like, there is no fucking way possible I could have kept that in. I was so excited. I've been wanting to be a mom ever since I was 14. Like, I want a huge, huge family. Luke, he's happy with just little Luke. We named him after his dad, by the way. So, I make my appointment for my first doctor visit, And whenever I go, they were so rude to me. Like, okay, I went twice. The second time I went, you know, the first time I got my ultrasound or whatever, and he was like the size of a paper clip, they said. The second time that I went, she wasn't even going to check his heartbeat. Like, they're supposed to check the heartbeat at every visit, whether it's on an ultrasound or it's on one of those little Dopplers. She didn't want to do that. And I was like, I was told that you have to check the baby's heartbeat every time I come. And she acted like that bothered her or whatever. So I switched doctors, obviously. And I went to a different one, and she was amazing. She wasn't the one that delivered my son, unfortunately, but you know, it's okay. As the days go by, my belly gets bigger, and then like I want to say in June or August, we found out that he was a boy, which I thought he was a girl the whole entire time. What are you doing? Did you see that? He freaking knocked me out. All right, so I thought he was a girl the whole entire time. Like, I looked up, I took those Chinese guessers or whatever you want to call them. They said it was a girl. The home remedy things I done was a girl, except for this one test that I done at home. The spoon and fork test. You basically have your partner stick one of each underneath a different pillow, and then you walk in, like you can't be in the room, and then you walk in and you just sit down on the one that you're most drawn to. The spoon is the girl and the fork is the boy, and I sat down on the boy, so that one was right for me. If any of you guys who are new moms or even second time moms, fifth times moms, you know, whatever, if you guys want to try it, it really worked. Well, it worked for me. So quit hitting yourself. Fast forward to September. Okay, I woke up around 11:30 in the morning, and I went and used the bathroom, and there was like this pinkish, bloodyish looking discharge on my toilet paper, and I freaked out because after that my stomach started cramping. Okay, so I freaked out and I ran there to my mom, and I showed my mom, and she was like, well, you know, keep an eye on it, and if it gets worse you need to go to the doctor. I was like, okay. So I tried to lay back down. My stomach hurt all day long. Like, it was cramping. It was bearable at first, but towards the end, oh my God, I would have to bend over and hold my stomach to walk. Me and Luke decided to go to Walmart to pick up a few things for him. And so we get to Walmart, and I'm having to constantly stop. Like, every 5 to 10 steps, I have to stop because my stomach's hurting. Throughout the day, it progressed, and I thought it was just Braxton Hicks contractions, you know, because I'd had them once before, and they didn't last very long. It was like for 15 minutes. But these were lasting all day, and they kept getting longer and stronger and everything. So, fast forward to later on that night, around midnight, we're sitting in the bed, me and Luke are, you know, and all of a sudden I feel something come out. So I stick my hand down there, and I knocked down my pants or anything. I just stuck my hand like on my short part, and there was a crazy amount of blood. So I called everybody that I knew that had kids, like that were my friends. They said that my mucus plug might have come out, that it looks pretty disgusting. So I looked it up, and it kind of looked like that, but I assume it was my mucus plug, but I like went into labor right then. Okay, so Luke looks up on the internet, you know, about it, and he reads that it could hurt me and the baby, like we could both die. So he was like, you need to call your dad and have him take you to the hospital. So I called my dad. He's waving. So I called my dad, and he comes and gets me, and he takes me to the ER in my town. And they literally took so long that I could have had him right there in that hospital. They just took my blood pressure, asked me what was wrong, said that all they could do was see how dilated I was, I believe is what she said. So I was like, no, we can't wait that fucking long. What if I'm in labor? My aunt comes to the hospital because my dad locked his keys in the car like an idiot. And she's like, you need to go to the hospital right now. You're in labor. So I called the hospital I was going to have him at. They told me to come on in. I get there. On the way there, actually, I can feel his foot trying to come out. My dad was like running 100 miles, excuse me, 100 miles down the interstate, like literally, to get me there. So we get there, I check in, I tell him everything that's wrong. A nurse comes down and wheels me up, and my dad's like, if she's in labor, you know, can you stop it, like preterm labor? And the lady didn't say anything. I should have known something was up. Alright, so they get me up in my room, I get in my gown, they put this contraction thing around my tummy, and my contractions are 3 minutes apart. Okay, this lady comes in and she checks to see how dilated I am. And it literally felt like she stuck her whole freaking arm up there. Like, it hurt so fucking bad. Oh my God. And I think she did it on purpose. I'm not gonna lie. Okay? And she was like, oh my God, oh my God. And now I know why she was saying, oh my gosh. Alright, so she could feel my son, like, there. The real doctor comes in, and at first they were going to fly me to a bigger hospital because they didn't have the right kind of care for premature babies. So they were going to fly me to a bigger hospital. They did. And anyway, the doctor comes in. He's explaining it to me. I'm going to have to fly in a helicopter, blah, blah, blah. He checks to see how dilated I am. And whenever he got done, my water broke. It scared me, though, because I'd never felt it before. Because, obviously, he's my first kid. And I was like, something's coming out of me. Something's coming out of me. Like, I was really tripping. And he didn't say anything. But, get the operating room ready. So, I had to have an emergency C-section. Ugh. They wheel me in there. And on the way in there, I'm asking the nurse and the doctor to promise me, you know, that I am going to wake up. Because they had to put me straight to sleep. And they're like, yeah, or whatever. Okay. They put the mask on me, and I just remember looking around, and then I was out. And then I wake up, and I puke on myself. How odd, you know? Bleeding, fucking puking everywhere. Ugh, it was awful. But it only took them 7 minutes to get my son out. He weighed 3 pounds 9 ounces, and they had to fly him to the hospital that I was going to get flown at. He had to spend almost... It was literally 1 day away from being a whole month in the NICU, and he done amazing in there. Okay, so I had to switch spots. Most of the premature babies that I looked up on YouTube were like 16 to 20 pounds at a year old, and my son is 9 months old, and he's over 20 pounds. Like I say, this kid weighs probably about 30 pounds now. Like, he is so chubby. You can probably hear him grunting in the background. That's his new thing. He likes to grunt. Anyway, he is doing amazing. He says mama. He can say dada, but he chooses not to, which is good for me. He says baba for his bottle. He says blah, 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 which he got that from Hotel Transylvania too, and it is so cute and funny whenever he says it. Whenever he talks, he gets this like real serious look on his face. But anyway, I am gonna go now. I got some housework to do. I'm gonna be doing a young mom video soon, or however it says, in the life of a young mom, whatever. I'll be doing that soon. And so if you like this video and you want to see more story time, I have a bunch of stories to tell you all. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.